Alright, so let's go over your homework. I'd ask you to do on page 362, 20 to 32 even. So for number 20, it says if cotangent of theta is 2, find the tangent of theta. Well, they're reciprocals, so tangent would be 1/2. For number 22, it says if secant of theta is 4.5, find the cosine of theta. Well, 4.5 is the same as 4 1/2. 4 1/2 is the same thing as 9/2. So if we take the reciprocal to get cosine, we would get 2/9. For number 24, it's asking us if sine of theta is 1/2, find cosine of theta. Well, if you look at your formulas, the formula with sine and cosine is sine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta is 1. That formula has sine and cosine in it and no other trig function. So let's plug in 1/2. 1/2 squared is 1/4. Bring the 1/4 over and take the square root. Remember, we get absolute value, which just turns into a plus or minus. For number 26, we have cotangent of theta is equal to 0.8, and it wants us to know, what's cosecant of theta. Well, there's a formula that says 1 plus the cotangent squared of theta is equal to cosecant squared of theta. Cotangent is 0.8, and 0.8 is 4/5. It's easier for me to work with fractions than decimals. 4/5 squared is 16 over 25. 16 over 25 plus 25 over 25 is 41 over 25. And if we go to take the square root of everything, we'd get that cosecant of theta is equal to the square root of 41 over 5. The plus or minus from taking the square root of something squared. Number 28. 28, it says if sine of theta is 40 over 41, find tangent of theta. Well, sine I can convert to cosecant, and tangent I can convert to cotangent. So the question is, do we have any formula that easily goes between any of those? And we do. We just use the formula for cosecant and cotangent, so we'll do the same thing here. I know that 1 plus the cotangent squared of theta is equal to cosecant squared of theta. So if sine is 40 over 41, cosecant would be 41 over 40. And if I do 41 over 40, square that and subtract 1, let's see, my calculator doesn't want to give me a good number, so 41 squared is 1681, 40 squared is 1600. I'm going to subtract 1, so I get the cotangent squared of theta, I'm just bringing the 1 over, would equal 81 over 1600. Take the square root, we get plus or minus. So the cotangent of theta would be 9 over, 40? 9 over 40, but we want to know what tangent is. So to get tangent, we just take the reciprocal. And tangent of theta would therefore be plus or minus 40 over 9. For problem number 30, it's asking us if the cosine of theta is 3/5, find the tangent of theta. Well, I know that tangent I could easily convert to cotangent. So cosine I could easily convert to secant. And looking at my formulas, I do have a formula that says the tangent squared of theta plus 1 is equal to the secant squared of theta. So I'm going to say tangent squared of theta plus 1 is equal to the secant. Well, cosine's 3/5. Secant would be 5/3. So I'd get tangent squared of theta is equal to 25 over 9 minus 1 is 16 over 9. Square root would give us the tangent of theta will be plus or minus 4/3. And there's one more. Number 32. 32, it says if cosine theta is 3/10, find cotangent. All right, well, cosine I can convert to secant, and cotangent I can convert to tangent. So we're going to use the same formula we just had, where the tangent squared of theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared of theta. Well, I don't know what tangent squared is, but I know that the secant would be 10/3 because cosine is 3/10. So this would give me tangent squared of theta is equal to 100 over 9. We could subtract the 1 from there, and we get the tangent squared of theta would equal 91 over 9. Going to take the square root would give us tangent of theta is equal to plus or minus the square root of 91 over 3. Cotangent, we'd have to take the reciprocal, and we multiply top and bottom by the square root of 91. So we get plus or minus 3 square root of 91 over 91. All right, so stay tuned for today's lesson.